Humility to me is being able to admit to yourself and anyone in your circle that you are a flawed human being who doesn't have it all figured out. Walker, can I go a little bit further? There's a level of freedom with that. You move a little differently. Things don't bother me as much as they used to. One of the key words in my maturation has been grace. When I was going through all of my mess, I wanted all the grace. I didn't want to give anybody any. Do you know how humbling it is to learn about grace and equip yourself to produce it out? Do you know how freeing that is?
This is Caesar Walker, the cool, calm, collected one.
And I'm Ronnie Gatry, the emotional one.
And we are the Tipping Point Podcast, your source for the black male's perspective.
Tipping Point Podcast.
Would there ever be a reason you would give someone the advice to ghost somebody?
To do what?
Ghost somebody.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Black?
Yeah.
My GPS can go here.
Okay.
Was that not good? I had that in my bag for.
I'm hitting the applause button for you.
Thank you. That sounds like the slow clap.
Golf clap.
Would I ever give the advice to someone to ghost someone, intentionally ghost them?
Yeah.
Meaning, for those that don't know, intentionally cut off your communication to them.
Yes.
Yes.
Under what circumstance?
Under a circumstance that is working to your detriment.
Sure.
And if you need an example, I got a few. So I'm going to start with man-to-man relationships. If you got a counterpart, a male counterpart, who is discouraging you from what you need to be doing as a man, that may ultimately impact your family's well-being, you gotta ghost them. You got to. I think, but I think there's rules to this. I think there's levels to this too, Walker. Why am I turned up already?
Because this is a great topic. It's a great idea.
I've gone through this. One can even say that I am going through this. But here's the thing.
How many people?
I ain't got enough fingers, Walker.
Stop it.
Now, was all this
Was all this
done on purpose or just a matter of circumstance, like just growing apart?
I think done on purpose on which end?
Like you actively said, I'm no longer.
They're reaching out to you and you're not responding.
Yes. And the person I'm thinking about now still reaches out on a biannual basis. Ghost.
Why do I think I know what you're talking about?
You're breaking up. but like we talk a lot on this pod about identity.
Sure.
Knowing who you are, knowing what you stand for. As you're working to build and shape that, you got to stand on your square. That's one of yours, Walker.
Sure.
And if you got somebody that's trying to push you off your square.
Yeah. Well, I think that comes with the territory too, is once you begin to know yourself, you begin to know what you can and cannot or will not tolerate. I think that kind of goes with that.
Absolutely.
So
now let me admit some fault, because you know I'm all about the vulnerability and transparency.
Never knew that, but continue.
I have not always gone about ghosting people the right way.
There's a right way to do it?
Absolutely.
Versus a wrong way to do it.
Yes.
The wrong way was?
The wrong way was...
What he's doing right now.
I just needed to spell it.
The wrong way was an indirect cowardice ghost. Again, Walker, I believe as men, confident in our purpose, confident in our identities, we owe it to other men to say, hey, look, Walker, this communication ends here. I love you, but for these reasons.
That's not ghosting.
That's a formal way of
It's
ending
not
it.
ghosting.
Well, take me back to the top.
That's not a form of ghosting. Ghosting is there's no closure for the other person.
Oh. For the other person?
For the other person. Because they don't know why you switched up. That's why it's called ghosting.
It's incomplete on
It's
that
like
part.
a ghost. Okay.
You completely done with them, but it's incomplete on their end.
How long has it been 2025?
2 days. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. So ghost is when you just dip with no.
Ghost.
How did I get here? I remember when I used to be 20. That was a lot of hair follicles ago. Well, okay. I've done that.
You've done what?
I've ghosted. I've
Okay.
ghosted. This particular person does not qualify for that, but I have ghosted before.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of ghosting.
Well, me either.
Okay.
But do you see it as a relevant thing?
It's a relevant thing. I can go on record and say I don't condone it. Knowing where I am in my life now
Yeah.
and knowing what it could have done to relationships prior,
Sure.
I'm not going to stand here and sit here and condone ghosting
Okay.
or advocate for it.
For the sake of time, I'm going to wrap this up with my response. Black, I didn't know if you got anything outside of this that you want to add to it, though.
Well, the original question was,
Would you give advice to someone? But see, he actually has done that. So even better. I didn't know that he's done that.
I was just gonna say if you have a firm boundary that they violated,
Yeah.
they may have reason to do it. But I guess you want it detail, or did you want to just keep it
Just keep
surface?
it high level. Keep
Yeah,
it
it's
high
just
level.
if you have like a very strong, like I guess line you don't
Boundary.
want to cross,
Boundary,
yeah.
yeah.
And they do that, like I don't have no problem like just ghosting. Like if they
Okay. So by boundary is you've communicated to them, hey, this is an issue. You
Yes.
do this. This is what will happen.
yeah, it's like I have a problem with you doing this. If you continue to do this,
Gotcha. Okay. The advice I gave to this particular person to ghost someone was based on the fact that this person was interested in a certain woman. And it appears as though the woman, after talking to him and asking questions, it didn't appear as though the woman really liked him, but she liked the attention she got from him. In so many ways, she made it known to him she really wasn't into him. She didn't come out and say it emphatically, but she would play games with him. So it wouldn't be a situation where he could sit down and talk to her because he likes her and she knows he likes her. So all it takes is her to do one thing, say one thing, and she got him roped back in. I told him, leave that alone. And I basically let it be clear to him, your time, you should be on your purpose. You should be doing something. Your time is limited. So when you do have time to devote to a woman, it should be to someone who actually values your time by showing interest or reciprocating interest into you. It shouldn't be an asymmetrical dynamic where you're giving her this attention, she's receiving and leaving. Right? If she's not doing that after X amount of months, I won't tell you how long he's been pursuing this person, and you're not getting that back from this person and they're playing games, because what I've learned is the more a person likes you, the more accommodating they are. The less this person likes you, the less accommodating they are, unless they're weird. When you like somebody, for whatever reason, you can clear that schedule.
and you make yourself available.
So if this person isn't reciprocating in the way that you think they should, and you've made it clear your intentions,
It sounds like he was being manipulated.
This is striking a nerve because I've been there several times. It's no secret, and everybody on YouTube knows my dating history has been trash. I mean, I don't care. I got the prize at the end of the day.
Most people will tell you that their dating history is trash.
Okay.
Or their dating present is trash.
Yeah. But I can say and briefly putting myself in those situations that I've been in so many times, like you just described.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I probably could have benefited from ghosting.
Yeah. Because there's really no benefit to you to sit down and talk to a person who don't really like you like that.
But let me ask you this. Is there any value in presenting information for clarity's sake?
You can if you are completely unaffected by her response. And when you like the person, that's probably not likely.
But you could get to the same place.
By talking to them about it. Yeah, I mean, it's what Black mentioned. It's, hey, this is what you've done. It's clear you're not interested. Let's just end things here.
But in the example you used, you don't advocate for that.
The person has admitted to me that he really is attracted to this person and is into this person.
He has the blinders on.
And I don't know if you put this person in the game. You're a coach, right? Don't you coach? Okay. You've
It's
seen
a sore subject right now.
You see, they don't have to know that. Well, they do now. But my point is, you've seen what a kid does in a game, and you already know I am not putting you in certain situations in a game based on what I'm seeing in practice. Right? You've given me no indication to believe that if I put you in that situation, you're going to make the right play. Right?
Right.
So they sit on the bench in that moment.
Right.
Okay? I put Buddy on the bench. Ghost her and move on. Because I don't based on what you're telling me, we shouldn't be talking about this today. You should have ghosted her months ago. Which admittedly he did, but she kind of crawled back into the situation after a life event happened. So
I'm trying to honor your question.
But no, you mean.
Hmm?
But when I explain that, what do you mean honor my question?
Well, I don't think where I'm going mentally is ghosting right or wrong, and I think that's a different conversation.
It's a different conversation,
right? So I don't want to veer off on that.
That was my first time ever offering that advice, but under those circumstances, I was like, oh heck yeah.
Jeez, okay, I get it, but
Heck yeah.
just knowing what I know now, while I get it, I probably would have told him to do something different.
Like?
Tell her. Bro, you really like her? Tell her.
Now, he has.
Oh, so he didn't take your advice.
It probably went from ghosting to gaslighting on her part.
Oh. Did I miss that in your example?
Yes.
Okay.
So basically, no, she knows. It's not like he's been concealing his feelings.
You know what I was about to say. Don't take me back.
But Black said something that was key.
Okay.
She's probably manipulating him, or no, she can manipulate him.
Right.
I don't want you to return to the scene of the crime. Just stay away from this person. If you know you feel this way about this person, otherwise I would encourage you to talk to this person. But if you know where you are, she got you in that way, because sometimes people just got us open. Mm-hmm. If they got you open like that and they know they can manipulate you, don't return to the scene of the crime.
Just not even to make her aware.
She'll get the picture.
Because what end up happening is that
I asked him this. You think she's been celibate this whole time? That you've been trying to... He was like, man, I don't think so. Oh, so she does know how to reciprocate. Oh, okay.
That's what I was about to say. Is like, just wait till like he's kind of sound like he's in a friend zone.
He is in a friend zone.
Wait till she finds somebody she wants. Clean break.
Well, does that make it okay? And see, now I'm getting back to like, should men strive for a higher standard than that?
Higher standard? No, you don't owe her that. You don't owe her that.
What do you owe yourself?
That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know. my thoughts are nuanced on this, but
Sure. So so your answer is no. You wouldn't tell no one. That's what it sounds like. Your answer is no. You wouldn't give anyone the suggestion to ghost anybody. You should tell them to go talk to that person.
right. And
Even if they don't know them, like they're trying to get to know them.
see, and
It's
that brings a lot more questions. If you're trying to get to know them, how do you know you like them? Like I can
Come on, Gad.
I can really dissect that.
Come on, Gad.
But for real.
Come on, Gad.
The thing is, like,
You know why you like them. She looks good. She got a big. Look at her.
Okay. Well, then you got to assess that.
Yeah.
I like what I see.
Yeah. That's part of her.
Do you like the heart?
Clearly not, because she's stringing you along.
Again, this is 42-year-old Ronnie, slightly more wise perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, who's to say that if he goes and have that honest conversation that she's not gonna manipulate him some more? Tell him what he wants to hear.
Well, and here's the beauty in that. I think there's an opportunity in that for him
To do what?
to grow.
No, you're growing by moving the wall.
Are you?
Yes.
Because
See, we're not. It's not. This is not his girlfriend.
which makes it even better, I think.
No, I don't.
What you got to lose?
Your
She ain't
time.
giving it to you, is she?
Your time to be with someone else.
Your time to have a 5-minute conversation?
You know all that. She's not your girl. You know all that.
You just like her?
Yeah.
And it's
So it's no
one-sided.
different. It's so different for me seeing a woman down the street who got medium hair and is light skin.
Dang, so close.
I like her.
Mm-hmm.
It was that. It was that shallow. No dates, no talking on the
said
phone.
They spent time together.
Okay. So it's deeper than that, is what I'm saying. And if it's deeper than that, then you just got to tell her. I think it's worth the 5-minute investment.
I'll give you more details afterwards.
Fair.
I'll give you more details afterwards. I tried to keep it short by not going into the weeds, but I'll tell you more.
Bro,
And we'll
I'm
see if
at
that
the
changes.
soil level on this.
Okay. There was another topic you want to discuss.
Okay, let me try to pivot out of that.
I'm glad I got you worked up.
Yeah, you did. Didn't take much.
Dude, do you realize you and I disagreed vehemently on that and just,
And we're cool.
God, do you see the growth?
Dude, this ain't 2019.
He's not on edge.
He's not
Or
instigating.
entertained.
He's not instigating either.
I'm not holding my hand over the record button to stop it. We're like, cut.
Wow.
No, I respect the fact that there may be more to that, and I'm gonna have my ears open to
There's
that.
more to it. I just
Yeah.
didn't tell you.
Okay, and that's fair.
I ain't tell you.
And to be fair, I'm wishy-washy
Out of
on this too.
respect, out of respect for the person, I'm not giving more details.
You know, I get that.
Okay.
Okay, so in switching gears, if we're good there,
Yes.
man, I had to answer the question to your text. I had a conversation with a guy that's older than me, who recently been divorced, was really trying to figure out what his next step was. And of course, for me, most of these conversations happen in the gym, which I do not like having conversations there. That's another podcast for another day. But so we're working or whatever, or we're lifting or whatever, and he's just like, bro, like, how you just have this, he said humbleness, which I can't stand because it's not a word. You have this humility about yourself. Humbleness, is it a word? Fact check me, please. I don't think humbleness is a word.
I can't believe I'm doing this for the wordsmith.
It's humility.
It's humility, thank you. But for a fact, I'm going to tell you he used the term
humble,
humbleness.
being
Yeah.
humble.
And he asked me straight up. He was like, how did you get that? Like, how are you so humble? And I mean, it's something I hear a lot, but it's not something I take inventory of. But without even hesitating, I was like, because I had to go through some stuff to realize just how normal and human and common I am.
Mhm.
So he leans in and he's like, what kind of stuff? And so I was very open with him about my recent pivot on self-discovery for me. marriage wasn't looking the way I thought it should look. Me being a dad wasn't looking the way I thought it should look. Me being, to keep it current, me being fellow podcast host or whatever you call us,
Stop it. But
to y'all wasn't looking like I wanted it to look.
Okay.
With some other relationship, employment, professionally wasn't looking like I wanted to look. Once I got to a point to where I had to make a decision because I could see so many things crumbling individually. Whether I want to acknowledge them or not, I could see them. And it was a conversation I had with my wife where I realized, and it's a pivotal conversation. We laugh about it now, thankfully. But for some reason, she felt compelled to tell me about myself.
She went off?
She didn't go off. My wife doesn't do that. She was very calm. She was very direct. She was extremely blunt. And at that time in my life, it was very combative. I would argue if you sneeze the wrong way. You know how I used to be, Walker. But I felt powerless in this conversation. Me, dealing with all that pain, dealing with all those failed relationships around me, dealing with employment turmoil, professional turmoil. I remember sitting there and feeling powerless and not being able to share one word to defend myself. I had to start the process then of humbling myself, ripping Ronnie down to shreds, finding the origins of why I am the way I am. And that's when my therapy journey started. What I wanted him to understand was that I can't tell him. I believe now it's a spiritual thing that put me in that situation of where like now I can't say anything. This is the same woman who I was arguing with on a weekly basis over dumb stuff. And now, she's reading me my rights and I have nothing to say. I believe it was a spiritual thing. So that led me down my path of self-discovery, self-work, and ultimately humility. So I try to be better with this because I know y'all don't like talking about this. But is there anything you can share just from that exchange that, have you had a humbling moment? Have you dealt with humility as a man? But where I really wanted to shape this conversation in terms of the focal point after you share that, when some people think or hear humility or humble, they think lack of confidence. So what I've been shaping my mindset on since I've been thinking about this topic is, how can one remain confidently humble as a man?
Okay.
I'll share the mic now.
So the first thing you asked was an example. I don't have an example of humility, but I'll give you an example of humbleness.
Okay.
So
Stop. And here I am. Okay.
Okay. It happens all the time. For if we're gonna be honest, it happened this week with me with work. I don't like not knowing stuff. So if I get to a point where I really don't understand this new project, new thing, whatever is being placed in my lap, yeah, that's a very humble moment for me. It humbles me in a sense to where I'm like, okay, I need to go get help in this area. I need to go think outside of myself in order to get this done, make progress. Right? Marriage. Yeah, there's times where plenty of opportunities for me to be humbled there. I've had those moments that you had with your wife where she comes to you about something that's bothering her or an issue in the
A lot of things Let's not get it twisted.
Some is relative.
Okay.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That happens as a father. That happens, right? Like there's so many examples I don't have to get in depth, but yes, I have had those moments. Just like even in my spiritual journey, it can be very humbling at times, right? You'll realize maybe you need to work on something a little bit more that you thought you had. You know what I mean? I really don't. I really didn't pray about that after you face plant, right? But when you think about it, it's like, I didn't really pray about that. Or, okay, so there's a humbling moment spiritually when you know what you should do, you didn't do it. And it's like, we make mistakes that I know. That's a very humbling moment, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that I have personally witnessed in my life from a marriage standpoint. I mean, I've talked about things that have rocked my marriage from my end on this podcast. I mean, again, we are very transparent in terms of our own personal lives. So absolutely. Black?
Yeah, I think about just little things like just like situations when I've been like absolutely positive that I was right on something, then found out I was wrong. I had to go back and be like, it was my bad, those sort of situations.
Yeah.
And also one thing that's incredibly humbling is get on a dating app. That will humble you real quick if you're a guy for sure.
That part.
Yeah.
Period.
I feel for you, man.
Man, for real.
I feel
Can
for
we?
you, dude.
Can we?
Dude, air
Can we
hug.
pour out some liquor?
Air hug.
No, dude. We need
Air
to
hug,
pour out
Black.
some liquor for this.
Because I just
dude.
thought about it. I was like, ain't no way on God's green earth. Oh my gosh, dude.
It sounds like y'all about to like pause for a moment of prayer after I said that.
I'm close.
how many of your, like you have group chats with guys? Does any of that come across at all in your group chat when guys?
Dating apps?
Or just dating in general, like guys
I could, and maybe I'm not as
tuned into it?
tuned in, but I could think of one who's given up on dating apps because I'm sure what you've. Bro, like I'm really sad over here.
Yeah, it's
I'm being selfish because I'm like, I know I wouldn't last a day on a dating app.
Yeah, man. But
Yeah.
that's
Man,
I'm gonna hold mine a little tighter
I didn't
tonight.
mean to kill the mood.
Nah,
No,
dude,
you
it's
good. You're good.
empathy from my end, bro. Like, my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
But yeah, you
But
be
yeah,
humble.
that's
You get
the
humble.
example.
yeah. Well, can I with Black?
Sure.
I think. Well, let me offer y'all a little more insight in the conversation.
Was this person humble because they found themselves in this new phase
No.
of life,
It-
or was this something they did?
It was something they did
Okay.
that he shared with me that I'm not going to go into detail
You know,
on.
that's fine.
Yeah. But his biggest concern was, while that sounded good, what I told him, he didn't think he was built for that as a man. Because he was honest and talked about like his former marriage was a lot of I say it and it's done.
Mm-hmm.
And he believes his now ex-wife just was fed up with that for years. Got kids involved. Like it's crazy. But him saying like, and I'm paraphrasing, but I don't want to admit that I'm crazy enough to go seek help. Lets me know that he was honest about the reality. Like he's not ready to be humble. Which led me to this thought. I think as men, it is critical that we each be humbled at some point of our lives.
Well, I mean, if you don't do it yourself, life will do it for you.
True. And he's got a glimpse of that with potentially more on the way. So like when men or people in general are opening up like this to me, I really pray hard not to be judgmental. And I really my prayer is really like, let my ears do more. But I'm gonna share with y'all a thought I had that I didn't say. It's sitting at the same table as your comment, but if you are walking around believing that you are above correction, you are above adjustments, you've got it all figured out, it's really no mystery to me why relationships aren't working out with you. It's none. I just don't know where you get that from. And again, he was highly critical about my own self-confidence in the fact that I would allow my wife to humble me in that situation. I would allow things professionally, as y'all said, to humble me in that situation. How I would allow my 11-year-old son to humble me. He couldn't grasp that. He was like, "You a man. Like, people can't just come and read you your rights and you just be cool with that." But at some point, this is what I really want to tell him, but at some point, if things are crumbling around you, you're going to have to look in that mirror. At some point, it's got to be you. At some point, you got to acknowledge, I'm contributing to this to some degree. Now, Walker, I can tell you haven't been through it. That was hard for me. That was very hard for me. I had a lot of pride, Walker.
Just have one question. Did he offer how the reason he felt his marriage failed? Did he tell you why he think his marriage failed?
Oh, yeah, it was her.
It failed because of her.
Yeah.
He did it. He was still doing everything right.
All that I'm equipped to share with y'all on air was that she essentially wouldn't get in line and be led.
Did she tell him why?
I didn't ask that. Again, Ronnie's listening. Ronnie's got thoughts, but at this moment, it's time to listen.
But you can ask questions.
Can I?
Yeah. I do it to you all the time, but I'm listening.
I mean, do you know if he would accept any advice from his wife or any kind of counsel from his wife?
No.
Oh,
okay.
That's a big problem.
Because dude, the body language, when I told him that, when I went and told him like how I had to go through that, the body language was very telling. It was like not me.
Well,
mind you, this dude is older than me.
It don't matter.
Still, but you would just
I guess how long was he married? Would that be too revealing?
No, I mean, I'd say that he's been married longer than I have.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been married 15, so y'all can do the math.
Yeah. 15 plus 1, I got you.
15 plus.
Thank you.
I mean, I think there's a lot of factors for that, Gat. I think a lot of that is some of that can be upbringing. You know what I mean? And what you saw growing up, how you saw men or how they related to women growing up. Some of that can be kind of deep seated, deep rooted, I think too I was thinking about this today. I think for men in general, but black men especially, like some of this, if you put this in the context of history, you got to think that there's a fragility that comes with our masculinity as men. For as long as a time, we weren't allowed to be men. You know what I mean? And when you think about how even today we tend to compensate or overcompensate for what we may be lacking, some of it is in our bravado. Some of it is in how we relate to others. Some of that is deep, but again, underneath that bravado is a fragility, right? It's pain, it's insecurity, it's uncertainty, it's ignorance in some aspects. But I can't let you know that because I need you to see me as a man. And if I somehow allow you to peek through the bravado and see weakness, you may not see me as a man. It's all through. It's why sometimes even in our culture, our entertainment, how what's being marketed to us as what's cool or what's masculine, hypersexual, flashy. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
This aggressive. That's the image of what manhood has been larger in part marketed to us. You don't see a computer nerd working in a corporate office. You know what I'm saying? That's not what's being marketed as masculinity in our culture.
True.
Right?
I feel targeted here, just by the way.
I mean, I'm talking about all of us to a degree.
Okay.
Well, you did say nerd, so it's probably like
Okay, got it.
Don't forget the nerd energy I used to carry, but anyway.
used
Used?
to.
Continue on,
Okay,
please.
sorry. But you know what I'm saying? Like, regular dude. You know what I mean? You drive regular car, you play video games, you chill. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying you just a chill dude.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
But you're not a flashy guy. You're not loud. That's a double entendre. You're not a loud dude, but you don't dress loud. You don't wear you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that we do that's compensating for deep-seated issues in that we've never felt like we've been men. So I got to show you better than I can tell you. Right? Or
Right.
tell you. You know what I mean? It's just I have to project masculinity at all times, whatever that looks like to me. So for my wife to tell me stuff, and it's a fine line, right? Because I do think that anytime a person addresses you, it needs to be done in a respectful way. So you can't disrespect me and expect me to receive critique from you. That's different. But if a person's being respectful and they're pointing out a blind spot because they care about you and you can't receive that, that's not a them problem. That's not a them problem. That's your teammate. And if anybody can see your shortcomings, best believe it's them. They live with you. Your kids, they live with you. So I think that's one of the things that I think we struggle with as men is it's black or white. Am I going to be a man? Or I'm going to humble myself. There's no merging of the two in their minds. And I think that's where your colleague is.
You good?
Thank you for that. Here's the thing, though. I've never been more confident in Ronnie Gatry in my 42 years of existence since I've humbled myself.
Okay. Sure.
That was another thing that came up in conversation. Like, as a man, like, if you're out here showing weakness, where do you get your confidence from?
Well, that's the thing. You don't have to hide behind a mask anymore. Right? Again, what he's talking about is you're projecting something that's not really you. It's not really you per se. It's you trying to cover up other things.
Which, in nature, is cowardice.
You can argue that. I think a lot of ways it's self-preservation.
Oh.
And you don't know how to preserve yourself.
That's a term I can relate to.
See what I'm saying?
Oh,
a lot of
yeah.
that is self-preservation. It's like, this is the only way I know to protect the real me.
Yeah.
I'll put on a mask so you can't see me. Right?
How do we deconstruct this theory?
Good question. I think we have to revisit the definition of humility. Because what we're working with is a poor definition of humility. What did he say humility was again?
Admitting you're wrong or what?
What? No, that's what he mentioned to you.
Yeah.
That was humility.
Yeah.
In that context,
Right.
Admitting that you're wrong.
I think it's something. I think
even
it's
if
something
you
that
are wrong.
sparked it. I think it's something I did
Uh-huh.
to spark that, and then I think he had a reflection moment. It was like, this dude been humble since I known him. I haven't known him that long.
So basically, his excuse was that's just you.
Yeah.
Okay. Can he be wrong?
Can he be wrong? Yeah.
Does he know that?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. I mean, I'm not saying he's the type of guy that's just like, yeah, I'm right about everything. I've had to correct him on very minor things.
But when you did, how did that go over?
Well, one time it was on his form on the movement. That did not go over well.
Okay. So you got tiptoe.
I had some.
You got tiptoe a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I let it go.
So his definition of being humble is admitting when you're wrong.
Right.
Okay. What is your definition of humility?
Ooh.
How would you define
I
humility?
wasn't ready for this. Humility is
Coming next to you, Black.
accepting.
Stay off the dictionary.
I only have humbleness up. I don't have.
Did you find it?
Humbleness? Yeah.
It's a word.
AI says a word.
Webster
Okay, I'll look for Webster.
with an A.
Didn't see one, but okay, if you say it, so go ahead.
With an AH.
Don't see that either, but go ahead.
Humility to me is being able to admit to yourself and anyone in your circle that you are a flawed human being who doesn't have it all figured out.
Okay.
Walker, can I go a little bit further? There's a level of freedom with that. You move a little differently. Things don't bother me as much as they used to. And forgive me if I'm broken record on this, but like one of the key words in my maturation has been grace. But the thing is, Walker, when I was going through all of my mess, I wanted all the grace, but I didn't want to give anybody any. Do you know how humbling it is to learn about grace and equip yourself to produce it out? Do you know how freeing that is?
Yeah.
People say from time to time, and it makes me so uncomfortable. It makes me so uncomfortable. You're just like this safe space for me.
It makes you uncomfortable?
Yeah, because I don't know. It's like I'm starting to grow in that.
That didn't always bother you, I didn't think.
It didn't, but like I just don't want to. And maybe this is my humility. I don't want to be. I just don't want to be responsible for that. And my thing
what?
for being your safe space, like go talk to Walker, go talk to Black. Black used to call himself a lockbox. Go talk to the lockbox. I remember that. Don't act like you don't remember. Yes, humility.
So realizing that you're flawed and haven't figured it out.
Yeah, I was about to go off the rails there.
Sets you free. I'm bringing you back.
Okay, thank you.
We got it because we're on a time crunch.
I was really about to.
Okay. Black?
Humbleness first. What did Webster say?
Well, it just gave. It says as in meekness, and it says the absence of any feelings or being better than others.
But it is a defined term.
Not really.
Thank you.
It mostly gives synonyms, but it says humbleness.
I was right, and I was.
It says as in meekness, but like
But I was ready to accept it if they were. I was going to give a little emotion, but I was ready to accept it.
Oof, thank God I ain't got to be humble there.
but like that's if you're only relying on
What?
what. That's if you're only relying on what Webster said. But like the first thing that Google came up with was humbleness is a quality of being modest and unpretentious.
Google said that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When y'all find the Google dictionary,
Don't do that. Anyway. Okay. What's your definition? Was that what you think of when you hear humility?
to me, it's like it's being able to recognize that you're not better than anyone else. That you can be below someone and still maintain a sense of pride.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I like what Black said.
I do too. I like what you both of you said. I thought about it, and to me, I thought of 3 words that came to mind just to define it.
Humbleness is one, right?
Huh? 4. 4. The second word, when I think of humility, I think of self-awareness. A humble person is very self-aware. They know exactly where they are, right? So if I know where I am, then if I look you in the eye and I tell you I didn't do anything, there's nothing that I could have done better. Who am I lying to mostly? I'm not really lying to you more than I'm lying to myself. I think the first step in humility is understanding you're seeing yourself as you really are. Not as where you think you are, not as where you want to be, as you are. Wherever that is and whatever that means. It's being self-aware. Have you seen a person who lacks self-awareness in rare form? It's cringe. It's so cringe to see a person who you have no idea, huh? You have no idea. You really don't think you're this way, huh? Right? Self-awareness. Second thing, the third word that comes about when I think of humility is I think of teachable. In other words, I'm committed to learning. To your point, I'm not assuming that I got it all figured out. I can always grow, which means I'm always looking to someone to learn something from, right? I've always said that if you understand how to eat meat and spit out bones, you can learn something from anybody, right? You don't have to be this credentialed person, right? If there's something that I think will help me along my journey of growth, I can learn from you. So no matter how important you think I am or how important I think I am, I'm not going to treat you as someone beneath me if I see you as someone that can help me or I can learn. I relate to you differently when I feel as though I don't put you down here. Put you right up here with me. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like I can learn something from you. So how I relate to you is going to be different, right? I'm not going to treat you like you gum on shoe, right?
Yeah.
Fourth thing, accountability. I don't think you can be a humble person if you can't take accountability. And I sat here on this podcast and talked to you about a crazy experience I had in dating with an ex that I shouldn't have been with. She had issues, okay? But I took accountability for being in that relationship. It didn't have to get as far as it did. I dated her for almost a year, Gat. I didn't see the crazy on day 362.
Yeah.
A lot sooner than that, but I stayed in a relationship. So, yes, she may have been not dateable, but I dated her and I got to own that. That's accountability. I wasn't the crazy one, but I dated her. So there are some things that I can take responsibility for.
Yeah.
So a humble person will say, you know what can I learn? What can I not do or start doing next time? Self-awareness, accountability, teachable. I can be those 3 things and still maintain my dignity and manhood.
And your self-confidence.
And self-confidence, because confidence comes from a place of competence. So if I'm teachable and I'm learning and I'm taking accountability, I'm getting better, which it boosts my confidence. But I got to get free from these things that's holding me back. And some of these things are trauma. Some of these things are a lot of deep-rooted issues. So again, if you can't even get there because of some things from your past or things your upbringing, it's a great time for you to talk to somebody about those issues.
Absolutely.
Because they're holding you back from truly being free. You can be so much more, but you're being held back.
If you had my gym shoes on during that conversation, what do you encourage this guy with?
I probably, you know me, I ask questions.
Yeah.
I ask, and it's not even to be judgmental. I'm just trying to understand where you're coming from. I would just simply ask him, when was there a time where you've been wrong about something? I ain't even talking about your marriage, just in general. When was the last time you were wrong? Can you point that out? And then I'll ask him, have you ever been around somebody, because clearly you're not self-aware. Have you ever been around someone who couldn't admit they were wrong? And how did that make you feel being around that person?
Right.
Okay. And I would challenge him, you don't think that's how she felt about you? You and I have had conversations like that.
Yeah.
Okay. You know how you would feel.
Right.
Okay. Last time I checked, you married a human being.
Yes.
So she would probably feel that same way.
Right.
Okay. I understand what your expectations are, because again, some of this can be deep, again, expectations. Premarital count, like, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Clearly you have an expectation. But what if your help meet goals, help meet your destiny. Your helper is saying, babe, what if she has a gift to see things you don't see? And your helper may have realized that she can't help you. She wouldn't be much of a helpmate or helpmeet if you didn't allow her to help you. She's just there to bear children then. But that may be the definition of your wife.
Right.
That may be your expectation. But if there's something in her that God put in her that you're not aware of, and you misuse that, you abuse that, you take it for granted, yeah. How does it feel to be around someone who thinks they got it figured out? You've been around those people before. How did it make you feel, sir? That's what I would ask him. That's probably how other people feel about you. Because trust me, I don't even know you, and we've all missed it. We've all been wrong. It
At least
doesn't
once.
feel good. It doesn't feel good, but it's even more difficult when you can't even admit it.
Right.
And punish other people for trying to. That's your teammate, man. She not out to get you. She not out to get you. She not out to get you. She love you.
Yes.
That's the first thing. Let's go ahead and just deal with. Okay, why? If you feel that way, you ain't crazy. At least I don't think you are. She ain't crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. So it can't always be she crazy.
Right.
Right?
Right.
We have our crazy moments, but that can't always be the default reason.
Yeah.
Is she tripping? No. You know that's not how life works.
No.
No, the only thing that came to mind was we were talking about humility. One big aspect of being a servant leader is having that humility, being able to work alongside people, being a servant leader.
Black has entered the chat. I like that.
Yeah. Agreed. Putting others before yourself?
Yeah. And don't think yourself to be above other people. Working hand in hand, side by side with people, no matter what your status is.
Yeah.
Do you lead like that?
I'm not a leader.
Yes. I can't. Listen, I'm a husband, father, at work. Yeah. I aim to do that.
Well, I was really
I get it.
okay. We're not going there.
No,
Dude.
because we got to rep.
I live by myself, dude. Who I'm leading? Myself?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Some people don't
That's
lead
the thing.
Some people don't lead themselves.
Some people let Instagram lead them.
Yeah. That's absolutely a
People
thing.
let the news lead.
Now, you're supposed to keep that offline.
Keep what offline? I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, he worked for himself now.
What does he mean?
You can't get canceled now, huh?
I can't.
No, you can't.
I can.
No, you can't.
I'm cancelable. I'm humble.
No, you're,
All right, y'all. We
you're
appreciate
aware.
y'all for checking us out. You already know what to do. Hit us up, hit like, subscribe, share the content. Despite what he just said, share that content. You can find us on social at the THA tipping point, one word, on X. TikTok's still around, as well as IG. With that, I'm Caesar Walker. He's Ronnie Gatry, and he's Black, and we are the Tipping Point Podcast. Thanks again for checking us out.